and it's basically just allowing the motorcyclists access to the front of the line where the air is a little bit cooler and the safety is a whole lot safer for the bike. Not going to get rear-ended.
And yet, if you're going to have a government sign that says, do not enter our city if you are wearing, that's a problem.
I think because you're wearing matching outfits, it shouldn't eliminate you from being able to order chicken fingers.
Not a whole lot I can do for you because there's no insurance.
Right.
I've had to do that to widows.
That's heartbreaking. I think this topic is worth fighting for.
We are very privileged to have a conversation with Jess Bagnall, a multifaceted person we're very honored to have here. And Jess, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, first off, thank you for this opportunity. I'm really excited about this topic. I'm really passionate about this topic. I'm the president of Motorcycle Rights for Nevada. It's a motorcycle advocacy group that's working to protect our motorcyclists on our roads and start working on some smart legislation, some smart policy to keep our riders safe.
So why do we need a motorcycle advocacy group?
That's a great question. Because we're not really represented legally, so the big initiative that we're working on right now is called lane filtering, which can get a little tricky with the word because it seems like it might be close to lane splitting. And, it's basically allowing motorcycles a little bit more real estate on the road and helping riders, drivers, everybody be a little bit more cognizant of our motorcyclists.
Okay, so you brought up two terms. You have lane splitting and you have lane filtering.
Right.
What is the difference?
So the biggest legal difference is you can only lane split in the state of California. That's the only place it's legal. And basically it's sharing the lane with vehicles. You can go passing vehicles using their lane. Whereas lane filtering is a little bit more slower, a little bit more controlled, and it's basically just allowing the motorcyclists access to the front of the line where the air is a little bit cooler and the safety is a whole lot safer for the bike. Not going to get rear-ended. You're not going to be more hot. So you're in Nevada, it's pretty warm. In the summers, it gets really hot. And then you're sitting on top of a motorcycle that has this 100 and 300 degrees. Also, it's pretty stale.
I've got a question for you then.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody who has suffered from heat stroke on a motorcycle?
So I actually commute from Henderson to Las Vegas, and I get stuck on the 15 every day. And I have been very ill being stuck in traffic with the smog, the pollution, no airflow whatsoever. So personally, I have had very nauseous moments where if I would have been able to lane filter, to be able to move my vehicle, get airflow into my helmet, airflow into my bike, I would have felt a whole hell of a lot better. I've also almost had heat stroke a couple of times. And now that I've had it, it makes me more susceptible to it. And let's be honest, I'm not getting any younger. So, it makes it a little bit more dangerous than the hobby already is.
Right. So I remember being in a room once with a bunch of motorcyclists. It was in the middle of, I want to say, August.
Yeah.
And
it's hot.
It's hot. It was about 7:00 and everybody had been riding. They'd been caught in traffic.
Yeah.
And I saw like the young guys, they were sweating, but they were fine. But there were some of the older guys, like in their 60s.
Yeah.
They were breathing hard.
Yeah. Let's be honest, a lot of motorcyclists are older. And in Nevada, there's 250,000 veterans in the state of Nevada. It's 6% of our population. And a lot of military members love motorcycles. So making sure that all of our motorcyclists are just able to sneak to the front. That's what we're looking for. And that's basically just getting access to stopped traffic, getting access to the front of the line.
Okay.
That's all we're looking for.
Then we've all been there.
Yeah.
Where it's backed up on the 15, the 215, the 95. And you're just sitting there.
Yeah.
And, in that situation.
Yep.
Would lane filtering allow motorcyclists to go to the front of the line?
That's right.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm going to ask two different questions. Does that hurt any? Does that make the cars slower? Like, does it prevent anybody from getting from point A to point B? Does it slow them down any? And then two, regardless,
Yeah.
is that even fair?
Right. So I think we're talking about two things here. We're talking about traffic and feelings. So for traffic, it is better for traffic. It helps traffic be less congested. So if you allow the motorcyclists to get to the front, when it does open up, a motorcycle is going to be faster than any of the other vehicles off the line.
I mean, they accelerate a little bit faster.
Exactly. They'll be out of the way and traffic can resume as normal. Now, the feelings part, yep, that is kind of a situation where sometimes vehicles, usually the bigger trucks, higher rised, big trucks, they get their feelings hurt that it's not fair for a motorcycle to sneak to the front because they were there first. While they were there first, we would love to get out of your way because we really don't want to be the front end of your hood ornament.
Okay, so even though people might feel a certain way about it,
Yeah.
they may get their feelings hurt and think that's unfair.
Yeah.
Does it? You're saying it might actually make the people who feel it's unfair, it might actually speed up their travel a little bit?
I would absolutely say that. And it would be in a great world where it would be appreciated that we got the bikes out of the way so that traffic could resume a little bit quicker.
Okay. I want to ask a little bit about you.
Sure.
How long have you been riding?
I've been riding 8 years.
Okay.
Yep. As soon as I moved to Las Vegas, I knew that was something. I had actually purchased a vehicle overseas. I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan, and they have a really great program and partnership with Harley Davidson where military members are able to purchase vehicles overseas. And then when they have them basically paid off, they can pick them up when they move back to the States. And that's what I did. And I took my rider's course at Henderson Harley Davidson and had my husband drive it home because I was too scared to put it on an actual street, and slowly went around my neighborhood, first and second gear, and finally made it to St. Rose to third gear. And my first long trip was out to the Pioneer.
Okay.
Yep. But now I average about 6,000 to 7,000 miles a year. I really like long rides. I've had the honor to ride with the president of my motorcycle club. We did the Iron Butt, which is 1,000 miles in 24 hours. So it was pretty awesome. And then a few months later, we were like, well, we had a little more room in the tank. Like we could have gone a little bit further. So we did 1,500 miles in 33 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. It's, I think it's the closest that you're going to get to flying, being in the outside, being in these desert hills and in the wide open spaces, riding up to Utah, going down to California. I've ridden to Mexico for my 40th birthday. I did a 2,300 mile trip with my husband. We rode up to Boise and then down to Southern Oregon.
So he rides as well?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. The two of you get to ride together?
That's a lot of fun. It's by far my favorite part of riding is spending that time with him. And then, riding with girls is just a whole nother experience that I highly recommend for anybody out there kind of interested in doing it.
So tell me about Motorcycle Rights for Nevada.
Okay. Yep. So we're an advocacy group. We're looking for, we have a few initiatives that are priorities for us for the state, but our first one that we're after is lane filtering and getting legislation passed in the next legislation, which will be in February 2027, and asking our lawmakers to make room in the policy to allow lane filtering.
What other states have lane filtering right now as a legal practice?
Yeah. So our closest neighbors, Arizona and Utah, are already lane filtering. And then, of course, California is lane splitting.
What about Colorado?
Also lane filtering, and Minnesota as well. They just passed it just a few months ago.
So it seems to be a trend that people are starting to pass these laws.
It is. It's definitely a great opportunity for Nevada to take care of their riders.
What other initiatives is Motorcycle Rights for Nevada behind?
Yeah. And one that I kind of wish we were able to kind of bring up now specifically, because there's a lot of talk around e-bikes and electric motorcycles. making sure that motorcyclists stay in its own lane, basically, and being identified as a registered and vulnerable vehicle, it is separate. It's different than a pedestrian. You hear the term vulnerable road user, but we're licensed, we're insured, we're registered, and I think that should be clarified in a lot of the data that's collected.
Yeah, I have that concern of if the data combines motorcycles with scooters, with mopeds,
E-bikes.
with e-bikes, I do fear that that's difficult for, say, insurance companies to differentiate when they're trying to set rates
Yeah.
for the different users of those vehicles.
Right, exactly. And it's not fair to the motorcyclists. While our hobby is dangerous, it's also unnecessarily expensive. You know, the insurance to cover on a bike, it's not fair that we're getting held, all of those accidents that are on all of those other modes of transportation are being held against us.
Right. And so the concern is that because the data, including government entities gathering the data,
Right.
don't necessarily differentiate
Right.
in those different categories, then when the insurance companies pick up that data,
Yeah, and it's
it can have
horrible.
an effect.
Yeah. And it happens in our pocketbook.
Right.
So
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
another situation that I'm personally passionate about is ending bans on colors in establishments.
So, okay, I have a feeling there are a lot of our listeners, viewers, audience members who may not understand what that means.
Yeah. So there are establishments, restaurants that will have a small sign that will say no colors allowed.
Okay.
And, you know,
What are colors?
yeah. So they are the cuts that we wear that happen to match.
Okay. So you are a member of a motorcycle club.
Right.
Does that mean that I guess here's a very personal question. Are you a gangster?
It's not it. While I do love that type of music, I am not, in fact, a gangster. I am a part of a motorcycle club. And this organization does a lot for our community. We are involved in everything from food insecurity to veterans organizations. While we're riding our motorcycles, we're also participating in events almost every single weekend, sometimes 3 or 4 events on one weekend, giving back to the community.
I sometimes like to describe motorcycle clubs as a lot of them are, mixed sex. You're going to have men and women
Yeah.
perhaps in the same club, but a lot of them aren't. A lot of them are just women, and a lot of them are just men. Your club,
Yeah, just women.
just women.
Yep.
So I like to describe that as a sorority on wheels.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, for example, the Elks Club.
yeah.
Which again, that's mixed.
Right.
Men and women are part of the Elks Club, but they have a division
Yeah.
that just ride,
Yeah.
and that is essentially the Elks Club
Yeah.
on wheels.
And they would not, according to what the establishments are allowed right now to do, is they would not permit a group of them to come into their restaurant.
Right. So if a group of Elks, which have their own,
Yeah.
they have their own cut. So
Yeah.
let's define a few terms.
Sure.
So a cut.
Yes.
That's the leather jacket.
Correct.
It doesn't have to be leather, but often is.
Right.
That people wear.
Right.
And it often will have insignia
Yep.
on the back of it
Yep.
that will indicate what
Right.
club it is.
Right.
And so the Elk Riders, they're going to have,
Yeah.
it'll say Elk Riders. It'll have a picture of an elk on the
Right.
back. And so that would be colors.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of establishments that don't allow colors.
Correct. And I think it's not great. It's not great. It doesn't feel great. Like
Right.
I think because you're wearing matching outfits, it shouldn't eliminate you from being able to order chicken fingers.
No, I know that part of the issue with cuts and colors is law enforcement specifically putting some pressure on local establishments not to allow cuts and colors. And specifically, I think that is to put pressure on specific clubs that law enforcement views as being gangs.
Yeah.
The problem is that's the category is a lot broader than if law enforcement has issues with 3 or 4 clubs.
Right.
And there are dozens upon dozens of
Yeah.
clubs, maybe hundreds. I don't know how many clubs there are in
Yeah.
town, but a lot.
Yeah.
And vast majority of them are not on
Right.
law enforcement's radar at all.
Right.
And so you have this ban by law enforcement where they go into a facility and they say, listen, we want you to ban cuts and colors. Then you run into this problem, I think, as a lawyer, of I think there's a constitutional problem there. I think there is, once you have the government putting pressure on private companies to ask those private companies to infringe on people's First Amendment rights.
Right.
And to be clear, First Amendment, in most cases, there are some exceptions on this, but in most cases, an establishment is, the establishment itself, since it's not the government, it can't violate somebody's constitutional rights.
Right.
Like, you come into my law firm, you say something I don't like,
Right.
I have every right to kick you out.
Yeah.
Mainly because I have every right to kick anybody
out.
Right.
Right.
And if it is because something that you've said
Right.
that offends me, I have the right to do that.
Right.
And so if you say, good day to you, sir, and I don't like that, I can say, leave.
Yeah.
And and I've not violated a constitutional right.
Right.
But
And I think that's good business.
What, telling people to leave because they say good day, sir?
Well, I'm just saying, if that is a face-to-face conversation with your business.
Right. But let's say, for example, though, that police come to me and they say, listen, I know you guys, you have a lot of Democrat clients or a lot of Republican clients. And we don't like that. And so we want to put pressure on the Republicans. And so, or the Democrat,
Yeah.
insert party here, it doesn't matter. And so we don't want you to serve them.
Right.
Or if somebody comes in with a Democrat badge, we want you to turn them away.
Right.
Then at that point, although I'm not violating the First Amendment because I'm a private entity,
Yeah.
because, I'm not,
Ow. Chug.
because I'm not violating the First Amendment right,
Right.
because I'm not the government.
Right.
If it is the police that are coming in and putting pressure on me to do that, they are violating the rights because they're putting pressure on me to violate the
Yep.
rights, I think. And so, to the point where the police are doing that to local establishments,
Yeah.
I think that becomes a problem. And I think it is a First Amendment problem. Like this, during the river run, not Laughlin, the Bullhead. During Bullhead City, they're trying to revive this river run.
Right.
And if you go into Laughlin, there's a sign that's put up by the city
Yeah.
that says no OMG cuts or colors.
Huh.
And OMG, that refers to outlaw motorcycle gang.
Yep.
Right. That's what they're trying to refer to.
Right.
But the problem is, one, what does that even mean?
Who is that?
Who is that?
Who is it?
And we know that it's targeted
Yeah.
to outlaw motorcycle clubs. But the problem is the vast majority of them
We're not.
are not criminals.
Right.
And you go ask the police, because I've deposed police on this, and I've seen depositions of
Yeah.
police on this. They acknowledge a lot of them are not themselves criminals. And being a part of that club is not a crime.
Right.
And yet, if you're going to have a government sign that says, do not enter our
Wild.
city if you are wearing, that's a problem.
Yeah.
The website talks about putting increased penalties on uninsured drivers.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So we understand how expensive it is for driving in Nevada. It's very expensive. And what happens is people stop carrying insurance. When they stop carrying insurance and a motorcycle gets cut off because somebody didn't use their blinker, they didn't see us, and we end up falling and getting hurt, our injuries are pretty severe, go pretty fast. We're in the hospital for a very long time sometimes. And when a vehicle owner doesn't have a proper insurance, we're out. We're out of work. We're out financially. And that's not right. Recently I saw that Nevada was doing like turning in people without their registrations. It's a big problem with the DMV and being able to own and operate a vehicle in this state. It's really frustrating.
Right. And I agree. One of the responsibilities we have is insurance. It's funny because I talk to people about insurance. It's, kind of my profession that people have insurance. And I talk to them about why you should have insurance. And one of the reasons, of course, everybody thinks because, they're afraid they're going to get sued.
Right.
The reality is not having insurance actually might make it so you don't get sued because lawsuits are expensive.
Yeah.
And, if there's no insurance on the back end, I can tell you as a lawyer who ends up having to fund these lawsuits,
right.
Often the decision will be don't sue because there's no money to be had. You're throwing bad money or good money after bad.
Right.
I tell people to carry insurance, not just because it's the law, but because it's the moral thing to do. We're all out there with motor vehicles.
Right.
They're all deadly.
Right.
All of us make mistakes.
Absolutely.
Every driver out there makes a mistake. It's just if they make a mistake at the wrong time, somebody gets hurt.
Right.
And if everybody makes mistakes, that means that it could be me out there that makes a mistake.
100%.
And if I make a mistake, I want to be able to have the cash available, i.e. insurance, to try to take care of that mistake.
Yeah.
And so, I agree that the idea of having increased penalties to try to encourage people to actually follow their legal and ethical duties, because I can't tell you how many people I've had to go to and say, who've hired me. Mm-hmm. And I've said, there's not a whole lot I can do for you because there's no insurance.
Right.
I've had to do that to widows.
That's heartbreaking.
Right. When you go to a widow who has kids, and you say, I'm sorry.
There's nothing we can do.
There's no money.
Right.
The people are bankrupt.
Right.
There is no insurance.
Right.
And I think that we should have some steeper penalties and policies.
100%.
To try to really force people to get the insurance because it's necessary.
Yeah, 100%.
So I've been to other states and there's a lot of support for your type of organization.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of, I think that here there's a lot of desire to support and be part of. They just don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So how can people support and be part of your organization?
Great question. So we just launched our website and it is up and running, and there's a feature on it that we're really proud of. And you can put your email or your mailing address into the feature and hit submit, and it'll pull up ready to go emails where you can email your legislator. And we all know that politics and government, it's hard and it's confusing, but we've made it really simple for our motorcycle enthusiasts and advocates. The other thing is signing up. It's a really easy sign up button. Just need your email. This provides us an opportunity to communicate with our people, our motorcycle riders, and anybody that's willing to be interested and involved. We're really excited to have conversations with legislators.
And how's that been going?
It's been going good. It's new. I'm not politically informed at all. So when I first really started contemplating about getting organized and streamlining some of these processes, I went to the internet and asked, how do you pass a bill? How do you change a law?
There's a whole song about
School of Rock came in clutch. So
yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill.
That was my starting point. And then I've really just asked a lot of questions and leaned into the people that I know that are also passionate about it. And I'm actually genuinely surprised at the legislators that I've reached out to so far that they're willing to sit down and listen. So I'm really looking forward to having some more conversations.
It gives me actually a lot of heart in that. So you get this feeling that that they don't really care or that they don't really listen. But at the end of the day, Nevada really is a small state.
Oh yeah.
And but you're telling me that when you've reached out,
Yeah.
people have listened.
Yeah, and I tell you what I was really surprised with. I was confused with the legislation happening every other year, that they were only available during that 4-month window. That's when I thought you would do all your homework, but that's not the case at all. The legislators are here in our community every day. They're in town halls, they're in fundraisers, they're out here all the time. And they're really personable.
Well, at the end of the day, it's not like they're making a lot of money.
They're making no monies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where you can make the argument that the national people,
Yeah.
There may be some real financial incentive. I'm not saying that people don't do it with a sense of altruism, but there's some financial incentive on the high national scale.
Right.
On the local scale, though, most of them are doing this out of a passion
Their
for service.
civic passions.
Right.
I am completely surprised and genuinely impressed with our state legislators. The ones that I've met with, they've come to me with curiosity. They genuinely don't know. They see motorcyclists as a nuisance and as a, almost like scary. They're loud, they're fast, and I really, really want to rewrite that narrative that motorcyclists are your neighbor, their moms, their uncles. They work at the hospital, they work at the base.
I've been surprised at how many ER nurses.
I know those girls are crazy.
I know, and they see the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
And I guess I do too. I just don't see it live at the same time they're seeing it. I see the aftermath.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, though, that most motorcyclists are pretty normal people.
They really are.
And you'd be surprised at which of your neighbors have a motorcycle tucked up in their garage.
Yeah. And if they don't have it now, they had one when they were in their 20s or in their 30s, or, we're waiting until their kids are out of the house before they're able to afford a motorcycle.
Okay, but you are having active conversations
Yes.
with legislators.
I'm doing my best.
Okay.
So,
well, and I say that because, you hear a lot of people say, I want to, we should make this change, we should make that change. To be clear, you're actually doing something.
yes. To the best of my ability.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with confrontation and having hard conversations. And I think this one's a tough conversation because the first reaction of somebody that does not ride a motorcycle is a hard stop. And I'm here to soften that talk and talk about it realistically and talk about, hey, I can pack riders. If you want to come on, I will take you on a ride. I'll put full motorcycle gear on you and we'll go sit in traffic for 35 minutes.
Come to me in July and we'll sit in traffic.
Misery loves company. And I'm telling you, I'm genuinely impressed with the diversity of our legislators, especially here in Las Vegas. So, we have different areas of the town that represent different types of people that might not automatically align with motorcycle enthusiasts, but I'm so surprised at how eager they are to have this conversation.
And, I have represented hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of motorcyclists by now.
Yeah.
And, they come from all walks of life.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be in the rich communities, in the middle class communities, in the poor communities.
100%.
And so I think that legislators really should be concerned about we're clearly not the majority, but we are a significant demographic.
Right. Agreed.
So what are you as part of the organization?
President.
You're a president.
Yep.
And founder.
Founder, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know I've been having this whole conversation as though it's your organization, and it is. I mean, you've done so much.
Thank you.
And it's been your brainchild and your passion project. I'm honored in also being part, and you've invited me to be the vice president.
Yep. So we have a small board, small and mighty. It's been an honor to work with you and to learn all of your ways. And we've got 2 others on the board, females, which I'm really excited about. They bring, I think, something. I just think we're the right fit at the right time for this initiative to get across the finish line.
Yeah. Well, listen, thank you for
Thank
the
you.
many, many hours of service
Thank you.
that you are giving the motorcycle community. I mean, you really, I've been amazed and astounded by how much energy you have, how much passion you have, and that you're actually doing.
Thank you.
That you're actually having the conversations with the legislators. And
Thank you.
I think that, we may have a really good shot here.
Yep.
So-
Well, we're going to do our darndest, and I think what's really nice about the motorcycle community is they are supportive of it. And now the big ask is just do the work, sign up.
And it's not a lot of work that we're asking for.
It's not a lot of
Right.
work.
It's
pretty easy.
Go to the website.
Go to the website.
Let the website help you send an email.
Yep.
Because it'll send it to your legislator.
Right away.
And then just sign up.
Yeah.
Because
sign up.
that lets the organization communicate.
Right.
And let you know what it is that the organization is doing.
Yeah. I think this topic is worth fighting for.
I agree. Well, anyway, Jess,
Thank you
so much.
Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.